of it, Tick, Trick, and Duck dropping one of their own bans. I believe it was actually 3 mid lane bans before, as they dropped one of them to put the Z in there, and Nuke Duck gets something freed up.
Yeah, that's deserved.
Yeah.
Whenever someone is that successful with a champion, just get rid of it. It's going to leave something else that they didn't want NIP on in the first place, but they have said Zed is far too strong in the hands of Nuke Duck, and it has to be stopped.
Well, it was funny. I remember Nuke Duck throughout the summer split was like mostly assassins, almost entirely assassins, and started picking up talent because he kept getting like Fizz and everything else. I feel like they just clicked something for the Heimerdinger there.
Yeah, they were out of bans. They didn't
like,
want to ban anything else.
We don't care about anything else?
P-E-H. Nope.
Nope.
Doesn't spell anything.
Nope. There was one, actually. It was CLG NA versus CLG EU at IPL. Yeah. The last IPL.
It was like TSM.
TSM SUX was the 3 bans. I actually thought that was hilarious. But yeah, the picks coming on through. Renekton stolen away by Tick, Trick, and Duck. It's going to be Thresh here for Mithy again, and Amin now on Lee Sin with a Lee ban.
That'll be exciting. He's a good Lee Sin.
He's incredibly good.
Lee Sin plus Thresh is also the jungle gym combo. He can just go absolutely everywhere. I'm very excited to see, even though it's Tick, Trick, and Duck's turn to pick, what 0-0 will lane against Renekton. Whether he decides to play something that can stick with Renekton, which almost nothing exists unless you play like really well.
Yeah.
Or if he's just going to fall back on something like Mundo and just try to play better in that matchup.
Well, see if they can do it. I mean, his Mundo's been good, honestly. 0-0, and with how good of a laner he is, I feel like he might even just win the matchup regardless.
Could be.
Which is a tall order, but like he's been so dominant, I feel like I could see it. The vibe being hovered over here for Nightmare. Snow. We see some Euro mid laners like Kautar's mid lane, the Zyra. We've seen it on support as well. A couple people still play it here. Really? It looks like it's going to come through.
Swap to Jinx at the last moment. Just because Sunny still feels really confident on it despite getting destroyed in lane. And they're going to be very careful not to just pick into the same lane matchup. Obviously, there's going to be the same lane matchup on the other side because it went so well for NIP.
Yeah.
They have reversed the top lane matchups, so it absolutely is 0-0 just saying, anything you can do, I can do better.
Yep.
Or equal. I think both of those would work for NIP.
Equal would be a win in this case.
Yeah, because actually, Phantom Joe did pretty well against 0-0 last game.
Yeah. Got a couple of kills. Jungler helped.
The music stopped.
It's fine. It just means it's more intense.
It is.
Sunny and Bonaparte must make their last 2 choices.
Bonaparte.
No.
That's not how you say it.
There's no accent on the E.
No, there's not. There's not.
He is French, though.
Snow could also be a support.
Snow could be a support? Yeah.
The Zyra could be a support.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's actually the more likely one.
The really tricky thing is they have to pick a mid laner blinded to Nuke Duck now.
A little risky.
Oh, the music's back.
So what you got to do is you pick Lulu and Zyra, and you're like, which way are they going? And then you're like, you have to kind of pick both matchups.
Yeah, they do.
And what if none of those champions exist?
And how do you pick against a Xerath, really? Is it
possibly
going to be a Xerath?
He did play it in their game 3.
He has played Xerath, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he is a good Xerath player. Zyra support against Thresh, Lucian.
Yeah.
Against Xerath and Gragas.
Oh man, yeah, Gragas would be the champion. I would say you're gonna immobilize yourself so that it's even easier to land explosive cask.
Potentially, there's a lot of danger here.
True.
Gragas is like the generalist master of the lane.
Ooh.
Fizz is something Nuke Duck popularized. Arya is something he's played a lot with DFG. Darius is something he's just hovering over because he wants to.
Thanks, Mithy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most likely one for me. That was, I think, the big breakout champion for Nuke Duck, which is always funny to me because he used to be on a team with Tabs. And Tabs was the big Fizz player, and Nuke Duck was like, I got this.
I know. A lot of history for these guys. Jungle Fizz. Ah, damn. Jungle Lucian.
Unlikely.
Ah,
the Lee Sin Fizz bottom lane with top Thresh.
Depends. Well, it technically is a best of 3, so.
Yeah.
They're just doing a generous amount of trading because they feel like it.
Why not?
Yeah.
I want a team that spells a word with their champ select. I don't think this one does. No. But for what it's worth, it's not too hard to do. We now have every letter covered, right?
We do have every letter covered.
So as long as there's no repeats, you can guarantee you can spell a word.
I feel like you need a lot of vowels, and not that many champions start with vowels.
There's enough.
There are. But like
Anivia, Elise,
what
Aurelia.
junglers start with Elise?
Yep.
Yeah. There's team compositions too. We should
Akali.
talk about.
Kind of.
They're gone.
I mean, you could. Molten Shield first, Annie.
So, okay, find a word that you want to spell.
Spike.
Spike.
Sure.
So you need Scion top lane.
Okay.
What jungler starts with P?
No. I was going to say Irelia, but I was getting ahead of
Poppy
myself.
jungler is terrible.
Pantheon.
So we have
Jinx.
Sion top. Hold on, is there a better top laner that starts with an S other than Sion? Because
There's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fine.
80 Sion would kind of work.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I'm totally blanking.
All right,
Sivir.
So Sion.
We're forgetting like something really obvious.
No. So Sion, you're spelling Spike. Sion, Pantheon. I, mid lane.
Irelia?
Ooh, you're running into trouble.
Is there anything other, like, are there other I champions than Irelia?
This is a really hard game. Have you ever played that like name 117 champions game where you have to type in all the champions?
Without
People
reference?
on Reddit, they're just like, I can get 115. I'm like, no, you can't.
I can get them from passives and ultimates. I can do
get
them all.
80 of them.
Oh, well.
I have so much trouble with that.
QuickShot would get them all.
No, he wouldn't. He's a
QuickShot knows like every ability in the game.
QuickShot, he has admitted to me in the past that he's like, I don't actually know every champion name and skill. I just have an app on my phone, and every time I don't know one, I look it up. I'm like, all right, that's probably the smarter way to do it.
Yeah. I just hover over on the bottom side.
Mid lane Irelia. Kennen 80 carry.
Okay.
And
Elise.
We already have. Oh, and Elise support.
Yeah, Elise support.
That's a pretty bad team.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Okay, different one then.
Yeah. Let's talk about the actual team comp.
Okay.
Because they're just standing in straight lines and staring at each other.
Oh, the Q lands. Snow taking damage on the half HP. If he got the mastery, it'd be wasted now.
It would be. Good thing he's on a mid laner. They're not going to let him go back, though. If they could somehow delay this a bit longer.
They're actually about to start buying time for themselves.
What the heck? Nuke are crazy right now.
Well, now Nuke Duck's run out of health, too.
And Snow stayed? Well, they both started with crystalline flasks.
So they're going to chug a couple flask charges. No big deal.
I think Xerath against Fizz is a very difficult matchup for the Xerath. Fizz, if all he does is watch for Snow's stun, he can dodge it every time.
Yep.
And then just move like crazy so Snow can never hit him with skill shots and hopefully just completely outplay that matchup.
Yeah.
The rest of Tick Trick and Duck's team, I think, is picked for slightly stronger lanes. So they're trying to avoid what happened to them last game, especially with Phantom Joe's Renekton. They do not want NIP to be able to push them in everywhere. But Nightmare needs to have more presence in the bottom lane so the same thing doesn't happen again. Zyra, I don't see how that's going to be bullied much less than Leona. Yes, it's a ranged support, but they're already in trouble.
Wow, Flay onto Sunny, level 1 for all these guys, and this Jinx taking a bit of pain early on.
Yeah, like Zyra's going to try and counter-harass Mithy a little bit more. I think that's why Bonaparte picked Zyra. So Mithy can't zone so amazingly well like he could against Leona. But outside from that, if they get hit by a hook, they will lose that straight up.
They got to be careful then. Looks like level 2 going to hit here first for NIP. The hook comes. Nice dodge.
Whoa.
Bonaparte hugs the wall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That would have been really bad if it landed.
Yeah.
Fantastic dodge. I thought for sure that hook was landing. Mithy left very little space between the wall and that hook because he was cheating, thinking that Bonaparte was going to cheat back to the lane. It's very unintuitive to be running up against a wall, and most times people will try to hook you towards structures so you can't juke in that way and it like traps you in. I thought he was trapped, but he had a little space.
Well done here by Bonaparte. Gonna get okay with this one. The root comes through. Good harass, actually, Mithy.
Nice.
Doran's shield are helping him keep alive. Took actually less damage than I expected for 2 like CC skill shots landing.
Doran's shield is a little ridiculous right now, which I think is why so many supports build it. In the next League of Legends patch, I believe it's being reduced to 5 HP 5 instead of 10 HP 5. But as of now, it does have the capability to negate a lot of harass and straight up damage. That's why it's so good in the bottom lane, since it reduces ranged auto attacks, especially against someone like Zyra, or just auto attacks. Yeah. They're hitting him so much, it's reducing an absurd amount of damage.
It's doing good stuff for these guys. So, Phantom Joe 0-0, taking a bit of trade. Phantom Joe happy to take a turret shot just to put damage onto Mundo.
But he's not out farming him.
No.
That's the big thing. As long as 0-0 keeps up in farm, he's winning that way.
Go more harass coming through for TTD. Freeze a little overextended. Can he get the lantern in time? Just flashes. Didn't want to go for it instead. Flay coming through.
Woo. Well, he got knocked over the lantern.
Yeah.
He didn't really want to walk back towards it because that could have meant he was dying. That's the early lane gank pressure that Tick, Trick, and Duck needed to put on the bottom lane. You could see the CS already starting to get away from them. NIP was up about 10. The fact that Sunny's gotten a gank and Freeze has had to go back to lane might give them the breathing room they need to get Jinx going.
And he's had to go back early. He's waiting to regen his health. I want to see what he actually buys. He does get enough for the Vamp Scepter, but just barely.
I feel like he had to wait a little while. He was very close to that 800 gold, and he went back before he really wanted to. and he waited for the exact moment and then went and shopped. Sunny could do the same thing right now, but they're trying to get a little bit of pushing in before Freeze returns.
I feel like they're not going to get much for coming in here. Yeah, they back up a little bit later than they needed to, but equal CS for the AD carries.
They should have backed right after they shoved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 6 seconds could have been saved there. Phantom Joe's going to flash away. Q's going to land into a minion. Amin doesn't find anything here. Okay, flash burn for not much time wasted.
Nothing to see here. Obviously, Phantom Joe, theoretically more gankable. And it's actually funny how we're seeing a very similar thing happen in this game, where the Renekton in the top lane is getting ganked by the opponent jungler.
Yeah.
And therefore, the bottom lane jungler is ganking, or sorry, the other team's jungler is ganking the bottom lane.
Yeah. Exact same setup here.
You don't want to gank. This is probably why you do not want to get into a 2v2 with Renekton on one side. You will lose it.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
as far as, yeah, exactly.
He almost won a 2v1 last time.
So I'm a little surprised, actually, that Nightmare isn't ganking for Phantom Joe. Even a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because the 2v2s would be so heavily in their favor.
That's true. I want to see what happens here. Amin still level 5. Hasn't even gone back to buy yet. He's in pretty good sustain on the champion. Of course, similar stuff for Nightmare here. Level 4. Using the shield to help keep himself up, but is running out of mana soon-ish. Let's see what these guys can do. Of course, we've seen a couple of ganks by these guys. No kills just yet. 300 minions again. Or sorry, 300, 400 gold worth of minions again for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're starting at the laning phase with a victory. Or an edge, I should say.
Yeah, it's a much smaller edge than I think in the first game. The fact that Nightmare was able to burn Freeze's flash was huge. And the Zyra pick in itself is definitely keeping Mithy much farther back. Until he gets hooked. Oh, dear.
Yeah, he even stays back, though. Didn't want to engage on the plants.
Good flame choppers, too.
Yeah.
Never really thought about it
if he went in.
The fact that they have the Jinx is kind of stopping them just a little bit from engaging on Zyra when they land a hook.
Good stuff here. Pink Ward, Snow. Let's see how long that one lasts. 6:45 it goes down. The one near Dragon. We'll see when that one goes away. Hook. Close one again. Mithy looking for Bonaparte constantly.
So those hooks are actually pretty hard to pull off. What you can see there, it's a, haven't mentioned this in a while, but Thresh Hook is, I believe, the only spell in the game that doesn't turn your character to the direction with which it casts. You could see when Snow used that last Xerath spell, his whole model turned before the cast time and then he shot it.
Yeah.
But Thresh, when he winds up, can be pointed completely sideways and then have the hook come out straight, if that makes sense. And when Mithy started winding up that spell, his character was facing Jinx, but then he threw the hook at Zyra. Yeah. So it's pretty hard to do because you have to first position your character to look in one direction and then hook in another. It takes a lot of mastery, but once you get good at it, it makes your hooks much harder to react to, which is needed because Thresh Hook is a half-second cast time compared to Blitz, which is like a quarter-second cast time. And therefore should be harder to land, but he has that advantage if he can pull it off.
Only other champion with a half-second cast time, did you know? Cho'Gath.
His
all his actives have half-second cast times, actually.
Whole kit.
Yep, except for his E. That one's like passive-ish.
That is not a cast time at all.
Not really. Comes out with his attack speed.
Renekton has a half-second lockout after his W. But technically, I guess that's a faster cast time.
Yeah, it's pretty much instant cast, actually.
Yeah, most spells in League of Legends are exactly a quarter-second cast time. There's very few spells. Oh, this is the first time that's never fixed it.
Yeah. Strange. Gets it. All right.
If anyone's curious, it's just this random spectator thing that sometimes happens. For whatever reason, it's this super low reproduction rate bug. Probably shouldn't talk about bugs if I want to.
Yeah, it's fine.
Where you can't see the jungle camps. And you're like, why can I not see these jungle camps? I don't know. But what you do is if you unlock all of the Fog of War, it makes them visible. It's like you turn the lights on the map and suddenly you can see it. It's this weird spectator Fog of War interaction. That's the first time I've ever seen turning the lights on not bring the blue buff back to visibility.
Yeah. Interesting thing to note, it only ever reveals camps that have a sigil on them. So it's like Dragon, Baron, and like the big golem, like the big red buff, whatever. Usually the little ones are still visible. And it's always visible for one team. If it's warded, it's always fine. Like if someone walks in and walks out, it'll reveal then come back out.
Yeah.
So, random stuff, whatever. Doesn't matter, spectator only. Pull down onto Sunny, good damage. Flame pulls him all the way in. Flame Charmers do a little bit, and Nightmare shows up. He's level 6, but Amin's nearby.
Yeah, they're trying to get those ganks coming in, but Lee Sin is one of the stronger counter gankers. Because you can always just W in and start kicking people around.
Yeah. It's fun.
I want to talk about cast times. I didn't finish my story.
Okay.
Most spells are quarter-second cast time, except there's a few that are just a little bit faster, like Morgana's Dark Binding and Lux's Light Binding or 0.15 second cast time.
Really?
They come out a little bit faster.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. It's so strange. And then also Yasuo has variable cast times on some of his spells, but that's about it. Everything else in League of Legends is on quarter second, so it gives you a very consistent feel of when things come out.
Yeah. Exceptions being things like Xerath. Oh, he's not locked out for any longer, but the spell just hits later.
Right.
It's like little things like that. And obviously channels are channels.
Yeah.
Those don't count. Okay.
Or like Caitlyn's Piltover Peacemaker. That's a lockout.
So, yeah, some are longer, but generally speaking, anything you just sort of cast when things happen. Quarter second, some of them are instant. And let's see what we can do. So, NIP, actually, I gotta say, this bottom lane, after that one gank from Nightmare, TTD have really salvaged this lane, especially compared to last time. You got 78 versus 88, much closer minion score. All right, they burned the flash, pushed him away, and they've held a much closer lane here. And you said last time that Jinx is going to have a slightly better late game than Lucian, arguably, and is holding on to the lane much more closely.
By the way, that little blue minion by the tower is not actually there. It's a weird spectator artifact.
The dive in on the Freeze, the knockup. He's going to flash away from it. Bonaparte forced to run away as well. The ulti's going to miss. Freeze still staying alive, but Nightmare is a very tanky man. He gets away.
Ooh. Nightmare had Turret Dagger on him, but when he flashed, it somehow lost it right there. I thought Freeze was going to be able to finish him off. Obviously, Freeze was left there without protection, and Trick and Duck found the right moment to go in on him. He did a lot of amazing juking, but was not able to come out with anything in a 1v3. Alrighty, so these guys are going to be happy to take the kill and bring the gold pretty much back to equal, 14 and something thousand on each side. NIP just cresting 15k now for themselves. Nuke Duck, dodging the spells, clearing the minions. Pretty happy stuff. Be a lot of that, I feel like. Nuke Duck's farm on Fizz is spectacular. Considering Fizz usually loses lane to a lot of things. Just a great counter pick to the Xerath. Yeah. And I think we're seeing the results of it with that farm. He can dodge pretty much all of Xerath's spells with that playful trickster, playful slash trickster. Oh gosh. Troll pole. Yep. Troll vault, another one. No one uses that one anymore? I don't like that. Really? I think that's why people stopped using it. Fine. Troll vault. Because you don't like it? Well, if there's like a vault, it's like a lease. That's like the troll vault because it goes way into the air. Pole vault's like a 15-foot jump normally. Fizz goes like 3 feet off the ground. I mean, relative to his height, it's probably about as good as human pole vaulting. No, that's like a high jump, I feel like. He's barely going above the height of his head. All right, all right, all right. I think I win this round. Yep. Yes. Good job, Jat. Success for you. So, Jat, what do you call a tiger with glasses? I don't know, Freak. What do you call a tiger with glasses? A science tiger. Those are the jokes you were going to bring out last game. Yep. And the worst thing is you talked about it in the break, and you're like, it's a science tiger. I was like, okay, that's good. Doesn't make any sense. We're going to move on. Hook's not going to land. Minions. We laughed way more than we should for that one. Yep. All right. Phantom Joe, not doing well in his lane, 118 to 130. I got to say, Zoro goes into a bad matchup, gets a single gank from Amin that forces a flash. I'm lost. Up by 15 minions. All right, Nuke Duck's going in. They're able to steal this blue. I'm thinking about the Science Tiger a bit too much. Oh, blue buff went to Amin. Yeah, they were trying to smite it with the Fizz coming through. Yeah. And just time it really well, but because they didn't want Nightmare to be able to steal it with the smite of his own. I think it's not a total loss. Nuke Duck will be able to secure his blue buff when they get back to him. It's just going to be a little delayed. Yeah, I believe so. The blue has respawned. I don't know if we're going to see TTD get there in time. Vi is trying. Yeah, this is potentially going to be a fight right here. Nuke Duck is a little bit low on mana, especially if it goes to clear that wave. And bottom lane is not actually winning for NIP right now. Yeah. So if all four were to collapse there, it would have been contestable. But instead, TTD says it's a little bit too dangerous, and they're going to let Nuke Duck get his pick. And instead, it's going to be TTD going back towards their own red buff, grabbing that pretty safely here, and it does mean that one of the buffs on the map for Trick and Duck has gone away, and it's being worn by Amin, the level 9 jungler here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Dragon available, not warded at all by TTD. It could have been snuck, I suppose, but that would be risky. On the mix for the mid lane. Snow rooted himself, and Amin didn't want any part of that. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he was pretty far back. He had no flash. Barrier on Xerath, because if he ever does get closed on, he wants that little bit of extra defense. I think overall in this game, though, since it's so damn close this time, the Dragon Fight's going to have a lot of importance coming up on it. At this point in last game, NIP was up thousands of gold right now. And specifically in the top lane, you know, Zoro really farming well. I'd say Mundo is continuing to win that lane right now. Soon to have Sunfire.
Tiamat's already done for Phantom Joe. 0-0 just sweeping things away. Is going to have the makings of a Sunfire, I assume, soon. He's got a lot of pieces and a heck of a lot of minions. Stops a recall. Good stuff there as well. Phantom Joe just trying to go back.
Well, Almond's coming in for Snow this time. War jump kick.
Kicks him in, misses the Q. We get more from Nuke Duck. Goes in for the Q, dodges some of the damage. There's the ulti. That's a kill picked up. Snow doesn't even try to bury her. Good kill.
Yeah. Once the flash was down, they had a very small window left to finish him off. You can see little pieces of Xerath left over on the ground.
Aww.
He's done for. Nuke Duck landed all his skill shots, even if Almond did not.
More than just his dreams are shattered here, Jat. Snow still in the death chamber. NIP looking for some pressure onto this dragon right here. They've got the numbers advantage. You don't even have Nightmare nearby just yet. Now, can they kill it before Vi tries to steal?
Well, with no flash on Vi, I feel like this is a near suicidal steal attempt.
True.
Looks like NIP's taken a little bit of an edge here. Great gank timing by Amin. You think normally Elise Sin would have more impact in the game 15 minutes in, since he's kind of known as that early game jungler. But he bought his time, got the boots of mobility, a little bit of extra move speed to get him behind Snow. And I think that pays off. I think that's a good thing. Yeah,
I do want to credit that Boots of Moby pickup because he could have gone for at least closer to the Ancient Golem, which is what Vi picked up, what Nightmare picked up, and said, no, the mobility is going to get me there. Golem actually doesn't help you kill people any faster. And Amin did actually manage to cash in on that pickup there. Phantom Joe and 0-0 still in a battle. Zoro does have Sunfire, Ninja Tabby, and a Kindle Gem picked up. And Phantom Joe's going for the Spectre's Cowl.
Yeah, Lee Sin is one of these very interesting champions, to just get back to the item build you talked about.
Yeah.
Where Boots of Mobility allows him to make it into more skirmishes, but I would argue decreases his effectiveness in said skirmishes, just because he doesn't have the tank stats Ancient Golem will give him. So as long as Amin is not in the same fights as Nightmare, it is a positive for them. But if he runs into Nightmare, it is a negative. He might be running into Nightmare right now.
Might get punched in the face by Vi, so he chooses to back up right here. Nuke Duck steals away a little Wraith, 4 gold. All right, good steals are going to take away more of this camp.
Recalibrate his Lee Sin right here. That's a couple Qs in a row he's thrown wide.
Yeah. Adjust the blindfold maybe a bit there. I don't know, maybe this opponents don't smell as bad as he's used to.
Something would have to be wrong with his ears, because he's been blind for such a long time.
Yeah.
If he needs to recalibrate it.
That'd be hard.
He's got to
recalibrate
he's got Q-tips. He's got to clean them out.
Maybe hearing aid?
Yeah.
Well, top lane. This
Can he land the Q? Is he even going to try?
Jumps in, kicks him with the fish.
Got him.
Not looking good for Phantom Joe. Dashes twice. Goes down. Nuke Duck picks it up. That was actually closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, if Amin would have landed that Q, I don't think it would have killed him. Mythical buff.
Well, the root's going to land, though, on. Look at the damage output there. It's going to be a kill picked up. And now on to Freeze. Nightmare has Turret Aggro. 300 health on Freeze. That's going to be a kill picked up. Get excited. I don't know if he needed to flash there. Nightmare had like 1,000 health.
Yeah, that was a lot of good stuff for Tick, Trick, and Duck, though, because the 3-man gank up on Renekton, they don't care. Renekton's going to be effective. We saw that last game from 0-0.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've gotten Sunny going, the polar opposite of Game 1, means they are now a threat. It pulls the gold actually in the favor of Tick, Trick, and Duck, and that was an amazing gank finish by Nightmare.
Wow, absolutely great play by these guys. The cash in on early game champions is working right now. Mid lane turret does go down, though. Nuke Duck stayed in the lane after Snow roamed, and 0-0 actually cashes in on the top lane gank, so suddenly back over it goes towards Ninjas and Pyjamas. 2 outer turrets fall on this side.
Yeah, the turret return was good. I don't think Snow needed to come up to finish that turret. I think that would have saved one of them. But still, all things considered, Tick, Trick, and Duck is right back in this game. The Jinx is just going to be so potentially powerful.
Well, here we go. Some burst coming across. Nightmare is around, does not have ulti. The chase on towards Amin. He's going to have Moby Boots soon, though. He'll be okay.
Yeah, Nightmare can't use his Assault and Battery because it is on cooldown. He used that to get all the kills earlier. But Sunny and Snow will continue to push up here, and there's actually very limited wave clear on the NIP team right now. Freeze can maybe clear a few things, but Fizz and Mundo are very bad at doing that. So this is a hard push for them to stop.
Well, and so far, one turret has gone down. Amin going to rejoin the team. 0-0 looking to flank a 5v5, potentially brewing. TTD pings away the blue buff. They know it's respawn. The ward comes down. They might get a buff steal of their own now, since Amin just stole away TTD's blue just a minute ago.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tick, Trick, and Duck hadn't been exploiting the limited wave clear of NIP at almost any point in this game, but now they can because they've withstood this laning phase. If they continue to group up with most of their team in one lane and just kind of let Phantom Joe deal with Mundo on the sides, they have a tremendous amount of siege and poke potential. If they want to push up 2 waves in the mid lane to go for the outer turret, or if they wanted to group everyone in the top lane and go for that like super outer turret out there, I think they could find a lot of success.
See if they can get it. See what they go for. Sunny just going to sweep away minions, though, on the bottom side so far. It's pretty easy stuff for himself. Nuke Duck, though, waiting in the wings. Will he go for another wave?
Well, he should have thrown out a spell because the moment is gone.
Long-range fish, just hope.
I think he was a little worried that he had backup.
There's no wards.
He didn't want to run, exactly. He didn't want to run himself into a 1v2. But at the moment, Nuke Duck is at his strong items for Fizz. I think he'll really get there when he gets his Sorcerer's Shoes because he does need a little bit of magic penetration. But everyone always talks about how Fizz, he turns on when he gets his Lich Bane.
Yeah.
Because it applies on his Q. I think he turns on when he gets his Lich Bane and his Zonias. Because you need AP for your Lich Bane procs to actually do good damage.
Yeah.
And now he has it.
Well, plenty of AP on him now. 200 from items, I believe exactly. We'll see what he gets from runes and masteries. But certainly a scary man. At least 160 damage in Lich Bane procs. He's going to hit plenty hard. Nightmare clearing away double golems. His team making sure they're acquiring gold from all the locations. Top lane, I got to say though, it's good for Zoro0. He's winning in minions. He's winning the matchup overall. Dragon, though, on the table. 20 seconds till that comes up.
Kill his plans.
Goodbye, plan.
This is a very eventful game.
Yeah.
For being so low in kills.
Yeah.
3 kills to 2, but 4 turrets to 2. More objectives destroyed than people. So I'd say a very tactical game so far from these guys. I do worry for Tick, Trick, and Duck whether Snow can be effective in the late game because there is so much mobility from NIP right now.
Yeah.
Freeze, Nuke Duck, they can all just get out of there. He'd basically have to assassinate Mithy, if anyone, with his Xerath Burst. And I don't know how effective that actually is, especially when you consider the Nuke Duck, the opposite mid laner, is on Fizz, who I consider to be a late game hyper carry, just with how huge his AP ratios are and his cooldowns, how low they can get.
See what we can do with this one. Zoro0 going to stay in the top lane for now against Phantom Joe. The Dragon's alive, and I want to know if Zoro0 can actually make it across there. Ignite is up for Phantom Joe, and he could do a lot of damage or just stun the teleport.
One thing to note about Dragon fights, though, is Xerath can control them from over the wall. If anyone wants to kill the Dragon, Xerath will be in range of all his ultimate stuff from over the wall, unless NIP is that far back, in which case he can't reach.
Oh, Zoro0 goes to the TP, but he's in vision range. He just loses the teleport.
Yeah, he should have went all the way into the brush. And now it's on Tick, Trick, and Duck.
Well, Amon taking a bit of damage. Going to take the Lantern out.
Ooh.
Safe.
So another just amount of tactical play right there. NIP is much more willing to go for a Dragon now that the Zyra ult is down. That ult has so much range that it is lethal in Dragon fights. Cloud9 in particular, use it all the time. But they go in regardless.
Looking for Mithy, forced to flash, ulti coming across. A lot of pain. You said it would be Mithy, and it was. He's the one who goes down to the Xerath Burst. NIP, they're going to pull their top laner around.
Zoro's behind him.
Walking across the map, does not land a cleaver. It gets blocked by the plant, actually. Nightmare forced to run as well. NIP running back and forth, taking damage as they go.
That just shows you how confident Tick, Trick, and Duck is, that they went in even without the Zyra ultimate and were able to come out with a kill. A lot of disengage on their side from this game, but the Dragon fight looks like it's going to continue. They saw that Nightmare went back to base, and they're on it.
Well, they're going to try. Zoro0 down to half. Ignited as well. Maybe more than he needed for that one. The Dragon is still taking damage. Snow still poking. Zoro pops ulti again. TTD, they're just forced back. Picked up right there. Amon smites it away. That's going to be his. Bonaparte now forced to run. Flame Trumpets go down. Phantom Joe in the front lines. Zoro0 full health, though. Doesn't even get stunned either. He's going to walk out pretty safely. NIP made the right call by staying for Dragon.
Yeah, I think so. They were able to finish Vi to a very low health. And they're just continuing to stay engaged because no one is dealing damage to Zoro.
Well, he's still in the front, taking a little bit from Xerath, but not enough to really matter. The team able to now siege towards the mid lane. Nuke Duck still pushing bottom and no one stopping him.
Yeah, so NIP just trying to accumulate this pressure they most recently acquired. TTD used so much to kill Mithy, and then we're so low and low on cooldowns from that last fight that NIP is just kind of spread out, and now they're trying to push down a little bit.
Ooh, and a nice steer with there. Amon gets the blue buff, takes it away, takes a Lantern out. So it is 3 blues in a row that get stolen away by NIP.
Yeah.
One did get taken by Tick, Trick, and Duck, to be fair, but buff control really go in the way of the red team.
Yeah, it's slowing down Snow as well.
Yeah.
Although Snow was behind Nuke Duck in the laning phase because of the counterpick of Fizz, the blue buff staying away from him punished him additionally. I wonder if that had too much to do with his Athene's Unholy Grail pickup. It gives him benefits because Fizz would be an assassin against him. But the successful Xeraths we were used to seeing in Season 3 of the LCS would often go like Morellonomicon right away, which is a little bit less mana regeneration than the Athene's Unholy Grail, and use that to hit a higher level of power earlier on in the game. At this point, he does have the Athene's Unholy Grail Death Cap, which is your typical high-power build you'd see on Orianna.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit slower. And I think Tick, Trick, and Duck could have benefited from having him go a Morellonomicon.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see, though. With Death Cap done, he's got a lot more ability power now. The Sword Shoe's also finished. So Snow's going to be more powerful than we've last seen him.
Yeah.
Nuke Duck hadn't got back to base for a long time. Picks up cooldown boots.
Yes.
And a needlessly large rod.
Yes. I see why he did that, because he wants to be able to spam his pull obviously a little bit more, since there's so much he needs to dodge in these team fights when you consider Snow and the fact that Nightmare is on Vi. There's a lot that can lock him down, and he wants to be able to hop around more. But his damage is substantially reduced without getting Matic penetration.
Yeah.
He has basically delayed himself now to until he gets Void Staff for when he really turns on. But he's also on Fizz, crazy ratios, percent health. Let's see how he does.
And the team jumps in, kicks Snow backwards, and here comes Nuke Duck. Goes in for Sunny. Can he get the damage? Pops the Zonias, and the fight is still going on. Top of the turret did go down. Sunny actually stays alive. Finally goes down to Ahmed. Nuke Duck getting away with this one. Red buff not going to take him down. Nightmare knocked up. Snow running away. One hit from Dead. Flash in from Freeze. Picks it up. The team still chasing down. Lands a long-range Q, and Nightmare not in a good spot. 2 for 0 in this fight. Make that 3 for 0 in this fight. Great battle here for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, they're going to try and go for Baron after this one. And you know what? Nuke Duck's cooldown boots saved him in that fight because his Playful Trickster came back up a second time, and he was able to dodge away from lethal damage. Now he's went back to base, got Home Guard boots, and he's going to find that Zyra and Brush and kill it.
Bonaparte waiting around in the wings, of course. Phantom Joe nearby as well. And if you're taking some damage in this fight, but no, it's going to be this Renekton taking a bunch of pain, going down. Ahmed not going to fall, and now they go back in towards Baron. He's got to be theirs. Yeah,
if Bonaparte steals with Zyra, he will be MVP of life.
Doesn't get it.
But now they know where he is. Someone's over there. Get him.
On the chase. Ascension used. Bonaparte turns the wrong way.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're gone.
Yeah.
At least it even kicked her just for good measure.
Oh, man. The fight leading up to that was a clinic by Nuke Duck's Fizz, I'd have to say. He didn't care if he wasn't doing the maximum amount of damage because the cooldown reduction was more important for him. He showed us immediately after buying the item why with that Playful Trickster. But also, in his initiation, he pulled off I guess it's the Trickster Flash that we'd like to call it. You know how Gragas does the Body Slam Flash? On his way down from that very same Playful Trickster move, he flashed on top of Sunny.
Yep.
Landing not only the damage, but the slow.
Yeah.
Because he had stayed on top of his pole and was naturally falling down when he flashed away. So really cool play. I hadn't seen Fizz do that.
That's a nice one. We saw it a little bit during the summer split, but of course, if you're casting in North America, it's not like you're going to see a lot of those Fizz players. We didn't see it much in NA throughout Season 3.
It's a nice play.
It's an awesome play.
Absolutely.
I love it.
It completely destroyed Sunny.
That was very nicely done. That was actually funny, too, because Sunny would have gotten away if not for Ahmed at the very end with like 100 HP. The Sword Shoes would have gotten. And it was like, well I was about to make that comment as well.
Do you get the kill,
get it.
or do you stay alive?
He got both. Ahmed helped him out.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
So NIP can have their cake, and eat it too. Yep.
Well, here we go. Panther would help. He wants to be a baker.
Is there Morgana? There's
Morgana
like a baking Morgana.
She's a bad baker, though. She burned the cookies.
Okay.
Pantheon, I think, would be good at it.
Is there a Baker Pantheon skin?
No. It's been suggested, though.
Why? I don't understand.
I mean, it's in his joke. He always wanted to be a baker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You would pay attention to those sort of things.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It gives us more to talk about.
It does.
Yeah.
And actually, the funny thing is, at least in his old lore, I don't know if it got changed. What? Ooh, Snow.
Wow.
Cold a little bit.
That is a lot of damage.
Freeze cold him.
No, it's not. Cull is not cold.
I mean, it sounds the same. Right, so, anyway, I was talking about, actually, hold on. It's going to be Bonaparte dying.
He is.
That's a fish.
It was a nice lockdown.
Yep.
Didn't save him, though.
Nope.
Yeah, there's a lot of immobility on TTD right now. And a lot of mobility on NIP.
Snow goes down. 0-0 making it happen. Nightmare not in a good spot either. Good night to him. 2 more kills picked up. Ninjas in Pyjamas just turning it on 30 minutes in. Jumps in towards Sunny. 0-0 barely taking damage from the turret. Still going for Jinx. Finds the kill. Now it's connected in the backlands. The only one alive. Flashes the wall. Chased down. Amin Freeze trying to make this one happen. Will he fall? Yes, he will. Ace now for Amin. 12-4.
Yeah. And after NIP won the previous fight, since they had the Baron buff, and we also mentioned a lot of things previously, like Fizz being a hyper carry. Oh my god, a surrender right now.
30 minutes in, 53,000 gold to 42. Yes. Tick, Trick, and Duck say, you know what? It's too much for us. GG 2-0.
Yeah.
NIP move on to the finals.
Yeah, and I mean, after that fight, it was basically over. But it was crazy how quickly NIP closed out that game.
Yeah.
They were so close for so long. But I think the team composition interaction that just happened there just decided the game for NIP. The Xerath could never be effective.
No.
The mobility of NIP was too strong in the team fights. Nuke Duck hit that point where he was just killing everyone. You could see it when he killed Sunny and their support whenever he really chose to.
Yeah.
And obviously, since 0-0 on Mundo as well, we're thinking like every lane here almost, was able to withstand farm against Renekton. He had hit a point where he was nearly unstoppable as well. So it was a very close-looking game throughout, but really, once it hit that point, and once they got the Baron buff, there wasn't much coming back.
Yeah, and what I actually liked is whenever I see a team without like real hard engage, I'm always like, how do you actually close out when you're fighting a team that's defending? You've got a Jinx with a Static Shiv, and you've got a Xerath. These are 2 great wave clear champions who are going to be able to hold turrets. And what I saw from NIP, which I liked, is Amin, as well as 0-0, flanked around the side, came in behind the turret, found it engaged from the Fog of 4, and was like, we'll just dive the turret, I don't care, but found a way in against wave clear. And that's always fun to see, is sometimes these teams find the way into the game, find a way to close it out early.
And it's a pretty big growing experience for NIP as well, because that game ended, I would say, much faster than Lemon Dog's games did in the European LCS split. So especially for players like Nuke Duck, Mithy, and 0-0, being able to close out games faster is a huge key for them. They are players that pride themselves on individual skill, and if they can get the team play later, they will be a huge threat.
Oh, they will be, and we'll see them, guys, in
the finals.
next week's finals.